If you think you're going to do it in your own strength, then you know what? Yeah, you can do it.
COVID, it's been helping people move their businesses from offline or brick and mortar to online.
Systems are more important than skills as an entrepreneur today.
It's totally okay to reinvent yourself.
Yes.
Multiple times, especially when you're an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Profitable Coaching Conversations with Wendy Y. Bailey. If you're a coach, speaker, or industry expert, you're in the right place for sales and marketing wisdom and insight to grow your coaching business. Now, here's your host, Income Acceleration Mentor, Wendy Y. Bailey.
Hi, everyone, and welcome again to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show. I'm Wendy Y. Bailey, and I'm always excited to bring you another amazing guest. And this guest is no different. Deborah McNelis is an author, speaker, and creator of Neuro-Nurturing. I love the way that sounds because we're really talking about brain science. And that's kind of why I wanted Deborah to come on and talk about this. So she's the founder of Brain Insights, and she's developed a unique Neuro-Nurturing Interaction Packets and the Digital Brain Basics Quick Start Guide. That's to help children. So welcome to the show. We're going to talk more about that, Deborah. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much. What a pleasure it is to have you invite me.
No problem, no problem. So let's just jump right in. What exactly is neuro-nurturing?
Well, neuro-nurturing is a term that I came up with because I've been teaching about early brain development for years. Mm-hmm. And I realized that a lot of times people hear that term brain development and they think, oh my gosh, that's going to be a lot on neuroscience and it's going to be difficult and complicated to learn. So I thought, I was telling people in my presentations, and that's kind of the niche to my work, is that I share it in real layman's terms, real understandable ways that can be realized and integrated into everyday life. And so I thought, well, I want to convey that it isn't all that complicated to do all of that. And well, so I was brainstorming with someone and said, I really need a different term. And as we talked, out came the term neuro-nurturing. And it's all about nurturing that brain to be as healthy as possible.
Yeah. And what ages are you talking about? Like when you look at your studies and the work that you've done in your body of work and you think about it in that way, is there a particular age where this neuro-nurturing really comes in handy?
Yes, definitely. The brain is always developing and always changing throughout our lives, but the time of the most rapid development and the time that has the most impact in our lives is from birth to 5. So I do focus on that area primarily.
So those are the formative years when children are learning very fast and they're absorbing a lot of information, and it's probably accelerated in the past several years given the internet and everything that's out there for them to be exposed to. Would you agree with that?
That's true. And that's another reason that I felt that we needed that term, neuro-nurturing, because sometimes people realize how much is happening in those early years, that they believe that means, well, we must push as much knowledge and academics into those kids' brains as early as possible. And if you really understand how children's brains develop and what impacts their optimal development most, it's all about the neuro-nurturing aspects that I've put into a model. And so it's meeting the physical needs, the safety needs and security needs, and the nurturing and play that's going to impact their brains most. And so that isn't so complicated, is it?
No, not really. When you think about it, like my son is 31 now, but I remember when he was a little fella, there were things that I had to do as his parent because he was diagnosed with ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. There were things that I learned to do as a parent that kind of helped him get into the zone about whatever he was doing. When he was school age, one of the techniques that we had was, instead of giving him a page of math problems where he would get emotionally overwhelmed, we would fold the page in quarters, and he could do, 2 problems, and then he could flip the page, it over and do the next 2, or, it just made it easier. And that whole way of nurturing his brain, I'm going to use your term for just a second, made a difference, because even today I see him, and when we talk, we're very close. He's compartmentalizing a lot of things because that's how he learned to do it. Is that kind of what you're thinking of? It's a different kind of strategy, but to me the result is the same. You're teaching children in a way that helps them to really absorb whatever you're teaching.
Right. And the only way they're going to learn, and first of all, I want to compliment you for the example that you're giving of what you did for your son. That's wonderful. So when parents and anyone that interacts with young children, if it's educators or social workers or anyone that's interacting with a young child, has the understanding of how the brain develops and how experiences play on the actual physical growth and connections between the 86 billion brain cells that we're born with. And so providing those opportunities for learning in the way that children actually do learn. And then by having this understanding, it also helps us have appropriate expectations for how they learn and what we can expect from them as far as behaviors. So, 2-year-olds, are notorious for tantrums and out of control behavior, right? Well, when you understand how a brain develops, it all makes sense. So that you realize this is what a 2-year-old is going to do. And so then it helps you nurture them through those big experiences so that it helps develop the brain in the most optimal way.
I love it. I call some people say terrible tools. I call them terrific tools.
Yeah. I have in one of my Neuro-Nurturing packets, it's called More to Do While I'm 2. One of the activities is called I'm Not So Terrible. So that's exactly along those lines that you just said.
A lot of, and I don't know how I came into this information or this, perspective about how I view the toddlers and young kids outside of whatever, was going on with my son. But, I came to understand pretty early that the tantrums are really about them not knowing how to express themselves. You know what I mean? They don't know communication skills to say what's really wrong. I've seen some videos. I love watching videos online, and I've seen some videos of little toddlers who are just really melting down, and then they're like, I think I need a nap. And that's kind of what's happening when they're throwing these tantrums or they're having these things. So you have to understand that about people when you're around them. So, I can't help but ask the question, how does this training, this learning, these concepts that you're teaching help adults? Is there something adults can learn from the neuro-nurturing approach and what that really means?
Yes, of course. Yes, because through understanding how the brain develops, it not only helps adults understand how to interact with children, but it creates these aha moments. So my company is called Brain Insights. It gives insights into the brain, and so these insights occur for adults to realize, that's why this and that's why that, and so
about themselves, you mean, or about
for themselves, exactly. And so the very last part of the brain to complete development doesn't complete development until about the age of 25, which a lot of people are surprised to find out.
That surprises me too.
Yeah, and that's the part that regulates our emotions. So you mentioned, we were talking about the 2-year-old. They're having these big emotions, and the prefrontal cortex that's right behind our forehead when it's fully developed, it allows us to take control of those big emotions that we're experiencing. But that part of the brain has to be developed well based on experiences that we're having and nurturing relationships, and that's a big key part. And then when it is well developed, it can take control of those emotions. And so even as adults, we're going to have big emotions, right? And the emotional part of our brain, the limbic system, is going to be fired. But when we have that well-developed prefrontal cortex, we can calm ourselves. That's why we say, take a deep breath. It helps us go to our control center of the brain, that prefrontal cortex, that will take control over those emotions. And then we can regulate ourselves. So it gives, like I said, those insights for adults to realize that.
Yeah, it almost sounds like recognizing like how you can manage your emotions. And I also think it probably gives people an opportunity to sort of pour in some tools like emotional intelligence, and pour in some other tools like neurolinguistic programming, or, you know, other tools like meditation and affirmations and all of that kind of stuff. So they get to use tools because now they're able to really embrace those tools more fully.
Right. That's so, yes, that's so, you're spot on. And so when you have that understanding of the brain first, then those tools all make sense, and you realize that's why they work, or that's the way in which they work. So yeah, when we take that deep breath, for example, it is going to make the connections between our body and our brain through a vagus nerve that connects our body and brain, and tells our brain, when that deep breath is taken, it tells our brain everything's okay. And it helps to calm. So yeah, having that understanding makes all the difference.
Yeah, I can see that. So who's a typical client for you, Deborah?
Well, a lot of early childhood educators. That's probably my primary audience. A lot of parents, of course, but I mentioned like social workers, foster parents. But I've also spoken to a conference of judges. You know, they're making decisions about placements for kids, physicians, medical community. So I had the experience one time of a pediatrician coming up to me after my session, and I'd say he was in his mid 60s or so. So he probably attended a lot of workshops and trainings and presentations. And he said, I've got to say, this is the best presentation I've ever heard. And I thought, wow. And you've been in this medical field for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll do our profitable wisdom segment. Sound good?
It sounds great.
All right, we'll be right back.
All right.
Being a member of a business mastermind can lead to exponential growth in your coaching business and in your bottom line. But how do you know if the mastermind is right for you? The right mastermind offers an opportunity for you to discover new growth insights and proven business strategies while putting them into practice with the right tools to grow and scale your coaching business. The right mastermind connects you to other high-achieving coaches so you can partner and collaborate. The right mastermind guides your efforts to grow and scale your coaching business. In just a few days, I'm hosting an information call so you can discover how to reserve your seat in the Profitable Coaches Mastermind. You can get all the details at profitablecoachesmastermind.com. You're invited to join this group networking and strategy call, and it's absolutely free. And so is the mastermind. That's right, the Profitable Coaching Mastermind is a high-value complementary opportunity for you to discover how to grow your coaching business. It's also a hands-on workshop designed to offer strategy to scale your coaching business. It's also an activation session with implementation tools you can use to grow and scale your coaching business. That's right, the Profitable Coaching Mastermind is totally complimentary. So save your spot so you can discover how to join the mastermind. This is not a sales call. Nothing will be sold. There will be no selling. There will be no offer. It is an opportunity, so save your spot. This is your opportunity for a collaborative interview, and you get to ask questions and get answers. Hi, Income Acceleration Mentor Wendy Y. Bailey here, and I'm so excited about the Profitable Coaches Mastermind. The information call is designed to give you a little bit more information about it and for you to sort of decide if it's the right time for you at this point. Remember, the information call is complimentary, and so is the mastermind. I'm so excited about it because I got to tell you, I have pulled 3 key pieces out of my body of work. We're going to talk in the mastermind about predictable coaching income. We're going to talk about business operations, and we're also going to talk about how you put your productivity into overdrive to create the sustainability in your coaching business. So be sure to sign up for the information call. I'm going to give you all the skinny when we meet, and I hope to see you in the mastermind as well. See you then.
Hi, I'm Gina Calvano, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Dr. Barrett Matthews, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Deborah McNelis, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
So welcome back. We're talking with Brain Insights founder and Neuro-Nurturing creator, Deborah McNelis. And now it's time to get into our Profitable Wisdom segment. So let's go. So the first question is, who's had the greatest influence on you in your life, Miss Deborah?
I would have to say it's my parents. They were very nurturing parents, provided a lot of positive experiences, the type of experiences that I share. And my mother was an educator, so I had that role model, and she was one of her big emphasis areas was helping children, students that she worked with, have a positive self-esteem and feel good about themselves. And so that's kind of the emphasis of the work I do as well. And then my dad had the philosophy, his favorite thing was, there are no supposed to's. And so meaning that you don't have to do this or you don't have to do that. There's no shoulds, and you can do whatever you want to do and be whoever you want to be. So
that gives freedom to children as they're growing up. You know what I mean?
It
when
does.
you put on them is what the expression I've heard before, then you're sort of limiting and confining their thinking, and you're instilling a sense of, fear in their choices, and you want them to feel confident in their choices, but know how to ask the right questions to get to the right kind of choices they need to make. So I get
right.
So
one of the things I talk about a lot is that we don't want to think in the terms of trying to help a child become something, but recognize and respect and respond to who that child is.
Yeah.
They already are someone.
Yeah. My son is a creative, and I've known he was a creative from a very young age. He likes to draw, he writes poetry, he writes songs, he's a singer, he's kind of fancying himself writing some rap lyrics as well. He's a fashion designer. He's always been a creative, and I've always known that. It's interesting because my sister who's an engineer, has always said, oh, well, he's got the brain of an engineer. And when she would say it, I would just kind of cringe, like, but that's not who he is. I know he's a creative, I know how his brain works. and I can see what he's really drawn to. I think that, what you're describing is nurturing children based on their own unique talents and gifts, right?
Yep, exactly.
And not trying
Nurture.
to force them into a lane.
Yes, nurture who they are. Yes.
Yeah, very good. So what's the best business advice you've ever received, Deborah?
Well, this wasn't exactly business advice, but it sure made a difference when I did start my business. It was, growing up, I was a very, very shy child, and people that know me now are surprised by that. But when I was in college, like a freshman, I think it was freshman year, we were in a discussion group, and I was just listening to everyone, and the instructor said, "Deborah, what do you have, or you haven't shared anything?" And I said, "No, I'm just enjoying listening to what everyone else has to say." And she said, "Well, you're being selfish." And I said, "What?" And she said, "We want to hear what you have to say just as much. And if you're not sharing, and I thought, oh, that's a really, that hit home to me, that I needed to share as well. So ever since I have been sharing what I want to share. So.
And to me, it kind of says, if you're sitting there and you're holding all of your goodies inside, people aren't benefiting from what you know and what you think. And I love that. Yeah.
Right.
So what's been the largest single sale you've experienced in your business? What was the amount and the circumstances, and what did you do to celebrate?
It was fun to celebrate. A State Department of Education purchased 47,000 of my Neuro-Nurturing Interaction Packets to distribute through home visiting programs throughout their state. So it went to 50 different cities, and through those home visiting programs, so that they were going to distribute those to the parents. So that was a $300,000 order. So that was pretty fun to celebrate. And what I did is celebrated with my extended family. We have a lake place together, and we all celebrated at the lake place.
Nice, very, very nice. And what has helped you move through those times when you thought of giving up in your business? Tell me again how long you've been in your business.
Well, I've been sharing brain development information since about 2004, but on my own business, I established that in 2008.
Gotcha. So it's been about 13 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So that means you've had time to think of giving up a couple of times.
Yes. That does happen. But it's just such a passion of mine. And that's why I started it in the first place. As I said, I was working I was doing brain development presentations, but that was for an advocacy agency. And it was a nonprofit, and the funding ran out. And so what I tell everyone is the funding ran out, but my passion to get the information out didn't end. So that's why I started my own company. So it's that passion that I see children and I think, oh, maybe the adults in their lives don't understand what they need most. And so that's what keeps me going when I see those children and know that more of this information, what I tell audiences is, my goal is only to reach everyone. So only everyone, because we not only need the adults that work directly or interact directly with children to understand, but we need everyone to understand, don't we? We need policymakers and employers and voters and the general public and everyone to understand, because it will make a difference.
All of that.
And we all benefit. We all benefit when all children have well-developed brains.
Because they grow up to be well-developed brain adults.
Exactly. So for happy families and happy employees and everything. So And there's research, there's economists that have done extensive research to show that if we put emphasis of funding on the early years when the brain is developing most rapidly, it's cost beneficial, that we save. Some estimates are like $15 to $17 for every dollar we spend in the early years. We save that much down the road.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So what's been your greatest personal accomplishment outside of your business?
Well, it's not exactly outside of my business, but I am divorced. I've been divorced for about 20 years. And just knowing that I could be financially stable and support myself through my own business and following my passion and doing what I love, that feels like a huge accomplishment.
It's a huge accomplishment. I totally get it, Deborah. I really, really do. Because I tell you, it's been several years ago now, and I've been in my business a little over 19 years. And I had someone ask me in the first 2 or 3 years, what would you do if you had to go back to work? And I said, I would leave the country. Like I just couldn't even imagine going back to work, you know. And today, you know, so many years in, I say I'm officially unemployable and unrecruitable. That means by network marketers and direct sales people, because I'm like, this is it.
Yeah,
this is it. I'm here. I've been here this long. I'm staying here. You know, so I get it. So we're going to take another break, and when we come back, I'd love for you to share your parting thought with our audience. Sound good?
It does sound good.
Awesome. We'll be right back.
Hi there, I'm Robert Kennedy III, and you're tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Don't forget to like, comment, review, and subscribe right now so that you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Jody Krangle, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversations Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Brian Oles from Black Speakers Network, and you know what time it is. You're tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversations Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. I want you to go ahead right now and like, comment, subscribe, and review right now so you get notified when the next episode goes live.
Hey folks, Simon T. Bailey. Have you lost your spark? Is a job just a job? Is a relationship just a relationship? Is a business just a business? Well, I've taken the last couple of years to do some deep diving questions and asking myself, did I ever lose my spark? Yeah, I have. And when I lost my spark, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to quit. But I decided that, guess what? When you find your spark, you find your joy. And when you find your joy, you find your people. And when you find your people, you find your voice. So when you find your voice, you connect with people who get you, you tap into your joy, and you become the spark for everyone around you. So I've put together this book, Be the Spark. I'm so happy to bring this to the marketplace because I believe it will become the guide that will give you the kickstart that will enable you to light it up wherever you go. So if you say, Simon, I've lost the spark at home, in business, in life, and you and your friends are saying, you know what, I really want a prescription that is sustainable. And I believe as I share my stories, my pain of what I went through, that you're going to be equipped with tips, tools, and techniques on how you can be the spark. So listen, go to simontbailey.com, get the book, and remember, I love you and I believe in you, and there's not a darn thing you can do about it.
So welcome back. We're talking with Deborah McNelis, who is I kind of call her a brain scientist. You know, she does the work to help make our children understood more and help us to be able to support them and create really amazing adults and all that kind of stuff. So with all the things we've talked about, Deborah, what's the one thing, the nugget, if you will, that you'd love for people to walk away from our conversation with?
I love sharing. One of my presentations is about how the brain focuses attention.
Mhm.
And our brain is naturally negative biased.
Mm.
And it will focus on the negative because it's survival focused. The brain wants to help keep us alive, right? So that's the basis. But if we focus our attention, whatever direction we focus our attention, it attracts other additional thoughts that align with whatever we're focusing on. So my parting thought is, if we focus on the positive and put our attention that direction, it's going to attract more positive thoughts. So if we wake up in the morning and think, wow, I have the opportunity to do these positive things today, and you go that direction, your brain will go follow that lead. Or at the end of the day, this is something I often talk about to educators and parents. At the end of the day, it's so natural to say, oh, I didn't get that done. Oh, I wish I would have handled that differently. Oh, I didn't handle that well. And now I have this to do. And we go through this list, right? And it gets us down. But if we instead turn and focus our attention on, well, what did I feel good about today? Oh, well, I got that done. And I did that. Oh, and I felt really good when I did that. It's a totally different feeling, and we release feel-good chemicals, and all these positives occur. So I encourage everyone to stop and try to refocus your attention.
Mhm. I love it. It's not just law of attraction, because I heard a lot of that in what you said. It's where your energy goes, energy flows is sort of the phrase that I've heard a lot.
Right.
But it's brain science as well. Your brain is going to follow that, and it's going to create the experience that you want when you're walking in that direction, when you're thinking in that direction too. So thank you so much for that.
Sure.
So we have a gift for everyone. You want to describe it so people know what it is, and we'll put the link in the show notes.
Sure. Yes, it's a downloadable free guide that gives the basics of what what I've been talking about. That if we meet the physical and security and safety needs of a child, we provide that nurturing, and we provide play, we're doing what a child's brain needs most. And so it tells a little bit about each of those areas and a little bit of the basics of brain development. And it also includes 10 activity ideas to do during everyday life that are simple, easy, that can be integrated into everyday life. And so there's just different samples for different ages from the Neuro-Nurturing Interaction Packets.
Nice. Very, very nice. Deborah, thank you so much for serving as a guest and being here today.
Well, it was, as I said at the beginning, a pleasure to be invited. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. So we'll be back for another episode. Be sure to join the after party at profitablecoachingsociety.com. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you on another episode soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning into Profitable Coaching Conversations with Wendy Y. Bailey. Be sure to join us at the after party at www.profitablecoachingsociety.com. We'll see you next time for more sales and marketing wisdom and insight from Wendy Y. and her amazing guests. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you know when new episodes are posted.